Good morning, everybody. We've still got a couple of minutes actually before 6 o'clock, just in case someone else decides to get out of bed or wait. So take a moment to make sure you're really comfortable in your seated pose. And as you settle into your sit bones this morning, just see if you can find the center of them. So you might like to, as you exhale, to round your spine, allowing your pelvis to tilt back. And feel the very back of the sit bones. And then as you breathe in again, rock the pelvis forward and find the very front of the sit bones. Somewhere where you may have found you've been hanging out a little lately, sort of wanting to go forward in life and get through whatever we're going through. And then gently come back to the middle. And feel when you find the middle of your sit bones how you can lengthen through the physical and energetic spine and out through the crown. And keep that length in the spine as you exhale back into the earth. And let's begin this morning's class with alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana. So if your nostrils are open and clear, just checking that as you breathe in and out, feel free to take your dominant hand and bring the index and the middle finger to touch the point between your eyebrows. Then you gently close off the right nostril and breathe in through the left. Keeping the gaze fixed at that point between the eyebrows, you'll close the left and open the right. And gently, smoothly exhale, keeping the gaze lifted. And inhaling through the right. Closing the right, gently exhaling through the left. So let your breath flow this morning. Really enjoy the natural pause at the end of the exhale. And then let the breath flow through the left nostril. Settling into the natural pause at the top of the breath. Closing the left, opening the right. Gaze lifted as you exhale right. Settle into the natural pause. And then inhaling through the right. Closing the right. Gaze stays lifted as you exhale left. And do one more round on your own, with or without your hand. When you've completed the exhale through the left nostril, gently lower the hand and come into Chin Mudra, tip of thumb and index touching, palms up or palms down. With your eyes soft or closed, notice the effects, the powerful effect of alternate nostril breathing. Balancing the being and the doing. And allowing you to come home to your center. And bringing your hands into Anjali Mudra at the heart space. Take a moment this morning if you wish to dedicate this practice. And maybe you wish to set an intention. Today we're going to focus on flowing on the mat, flowing with change off the mat, and how easily we can go with that, or how easily we resist that. So holding your intention deep in your heart space. Hatha Yoga New Shasanam. This is the first Yoga Sutra, which means it is with great respect and infinite love for ourselves and all beings that we now come to this practice. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And gently leaning back into your hands. Keep your left heel tucked in towards your groin and bring that right leg around to the side into this animal resting pose. And then bring your hands back to your heart space. As you need to breathe in, interlace your fingers and draw your elbows wide. Pressing forward as you come into a circle of joy. Let your spine round here, let your pelvis tip back. And then when you need to breathe in, take your hands skyward. Really reaching tall, releasing your hands around you as you breathe out. Slump as you interlace, elbows bend, roll the heads of the arm bones back, and then draw your elbows towards long. Your choice. You might feel like you want to take your chin to your chest, or you might lean back and even put your knuckles on the floor and look skyward, opening the front of the shoulders a little more. Then gently come back up, chin is parallel, and release your hands and let them float back to your heart space. Then slide your hands in front of you as you come into a forward bend, and slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Fingertips come behind, press your shins into the floor and lift your pelvis up off your blanket or your prop. Then release the pelvis back down. Turning towards this left leg, roll forward again, taking your hands forward onto the floor. Pause just with a natural pause of your breath, and then roll yourself back up one vertebrae at a time. Again, fingertips behind you, press your shins into the floor, open through the hips as you lift the pelvis. Really open through the shoulders as well. Chin is soft as you look forward. And then release your pelvis and bring your right hand to the floor or fingertips and take your left hand up and come on over to the right. Side bend. Then coming back to your left side, come on up into Tadasana by grounding through that left shin, extending out through the right leg, and take your arm over your head. And let's flow here. So sitting back down, bringing the heel in towards your cushion, coming into a side bend to the right, then releasing that left fingertip, or you can have your block if you need here, and coming up into Tadasana. And just flow with your breath. So enjoy the natural pause. And this next time when you sit back down, bring that left foot in to sit cross-legged. And take a breath in, drawing your arms up and around the body. Reach tall, maybe even look up towards your thumbs or look ahead. And then bring your arms to shoulder height. And you're going to turn towards the left side, bringing the right hand to the outside of that side. Then again, come into another side bend, taking the left hand up and over. Then come back to the middle and cross your left arm across your body. So the backs of your hands now are on your thighs, and slide yourself forward and enjoy that opening in the back of the shoulders. And then rolling up one vertebrae at a time, bring your hands together into Garudasana arms and find your sweet spot. So you might come forward and find an edge and just want to stay there and breathe into it. If you'd like to flow, keep flowing, lifting the elbows. curling. Notice what you need this morning. After flowing a little bit, do you need to just stay still and breathe? And then the next time you need to breathe in, come on up so that your elbows are parallel with the floor. Take a deep inhaling breath as you open your arms wide. And then turn your palms forward and feel like you're slowly gathering all of your focus and bring it home. And lean back into your hands. Come off your prop for a moment, keep it behind you. And rock back into Navasana. So find the back of those sit bones as you lift your legs. And remember, you have a choice. You could come into this Adha Navasana where you touch the tips of your toes to the floor. You could stay still. What do you need? Do you need to flow? How have you coped with the week that has been? If you're feeling a bit stagnant or feeling like you really had enough, maybe you flow. And then draw your legs back in and swap sides. So now the right heel comes in towards your groin and the left leg goes around the side. Adjust your prop underneath your sit bones. Settling, hands at the heart space. Inhale, interlace, draw your elbows wide. Exhale, round. Wait until you need to breathe in, and when you do, take your arms up. Really feel that length through your side body. And release. Slump a little as you roll the shoulders forward to then roll them back. Knuckles to the floor if you like. Opening the front of the chest, maybe looking towards the ceiling. Then back to center with the chin and the spine, and bring your hands all the way back to your heart space. Fingertips to the floor, take a breath in and lengthen. And then walk your way forward, keeping your sit bones grounded. Bow to the floor and then roll yourself up. Fingertips behind you, pressing your shins into the floor. You could always stay cross-legged if that's better for your knees here rather than the animal resting pose. And then we turn ourselves towards the right leg. Again, laying yourself forward. Release your head towards the floor and then roll yourself back up. One vertebrae at a time. Fingertips behind, opening through the shoulders as you press the shins down and forward. And then release. Bringing your left fingertips to the floor, take the right hand to the ceiling and come into that side bend. Grounding down through your right sit bone. Then back to center. Then Tarasana. So remember, you could have a block if you feel like you need a bit more height. And you come up onto your shin and extend out through that left leg. Taking your arm over your ear, enjoying the length in the side. And then bring yourself back down. Bend your knee, heel back into your buttocks. Come into the side bend again. Notice what happens as we flow. Notice the body become freer, which is pretty much what we need to do at the moment in life. Try and flow as much as we can. Try not to resist, but rather realizing what we can control and what we cannot. Last time. And as you sit back down, you cross the left leg, adjust your cushion, breath in, draw the arms again up high, really reach tall, feel the length in the side body, then arms to horizontal and turn towards, excuse me, your right, back of the right hand on that thigh, gentle side bend to the left, come back to center, bring that arm across to the outside and sink forward. And then start to bring your hands together. And you may even stay forward straight away and go, yeah, there's my sweet spot. Feel free to stay there if you find it on the way up. Otherwise, you might like to flow. Listen to your inner guidance here as to what you need. And then we'll slowly roll up so that your elbows are parallel to the floor, spine is long. Take a breath in, opening your arms wide. And then as you breathe out, feel like you're slowly drawing all of your focus back into your heart space. And then gently leaning back and cross your legs. I'm going to roll through your spine, so make sure you've got enough room behind you. And begin to just roll through your spine. And make your way to your back. You come into a flowing spinal twist. So you might like to begin with your feet on the floor, hip width apart and parallel. And you gently tip your pelvis to one side, turning and looking to the opposite hand. You're coming with me to the left first, back to center, then to right, turning and looking towards the left. When you come back to center, you can choose to keep going with this level if you'd like to lift your feet off the floor, and even bring your hands up, both hip width apart and parallel. And you tip the pelvis to the left, bend your left hand as you let your arms go right. When you come back to center, just bring one leg at a time. And then go to the right. You bend the right elbow so the hand comes to the left shoulder. And you turn and look left. Keep flowing now with whichever version suits your back. So remember, early in the morning, sometimes you need to keep your feet on the ground and just be gentler, because we will all stiffen up overnight to the natural tightenings of our tissues. So find spaciousness in flowing. So find your pace. Find the natural pause in your breath. And the next time you come back to center from the right, pause here and hug your knees into your chest. Feel free to even come into bear cub. And as you bear cub and gently roll a little from side to side again, find the spaciousness in your breath. And then back to center. Begin to roll through your spine. Initially, there's a flow going, and then you might like to hold on with your forearms. Roll yourself into a tighter little ball. And then you're going to pop 2 feet. You might need to, I've just moved back a little. You might need to move back a little or build a little bit of momentum. And as you come to your feet, pause in this easy squat. And let's stay lowish this morning. So feet are parallel, base of big toe, base of little toe pressing evenly into the floor. And then start to lift your heels and sink them down. So you keep your knees in the same bend, same angle, and you just lift up onto the balls of the feet and sink your heels down. And you might get a little bit of jerky, shaky. This is quite strong for your deep calf muscle. You might also get some cracking and joints release in the morning. And then the next time you sink down, let your head sink down as well. Have a moment of stillness. And then place your heels on the floor. Hip width apart and parallel, 2 fists between your big toes. Let your belly sandwich onto your thighs, generous bend in your knees. Let your head go. Take a full breath round here and really feel like you're letting go of the week. It's hard not to be in your head. There's a lot of information coming at us all the time. And so just have a little nod, a little shake and let it go. And then go down to come up and slowly roll up. Nice. Draw your arms around you and let's roll straight back down through the center. Go down to come up. Rolling up. Drawing your arms around you one more time and you're rolling down one vertebra at a time. Let your head go. And then go down to come up. Staying upright this time. Hands to your heart. And let's go into the 5 Tibetans. So it's spring. Spring has sprung. And we managed to do the 5 Tibetans over the whole of winter. So you may be like me. This week I've been doing 21. And so traditionally that's what you would build up to. Otherwise, if you haven't been practicing this too long, or 10 feels like enough, just stay with 10 or anywhere in between that. So remember, the first one is spinning. If that's not right for you, you can come into the gentle twist. Off you go. Good one for those of you who are outside to warm you up this morning. When you've completed, bring your hands into temple mudra, stare at the tips of your thumbs and breathe from the earth. Send your breath back into the earth. Grounded, connected. As many times as you need until you're back in balance. And then come and lay down onto your back with your hands underneath your pelvis. So chin tuck as you bring the legs in. You can have your knees very bent here. And then keeping your back in that neutral position. So don't let your back move. And once you get going a little bit quicker, when you've completed, release your feet, maybe all the way down. Take a full breath around and let the back of your body just melt into the floor. Then you roll over and come on into the high kneel. Toes can be tucked or feet flat, your choice. Fists in your glutes, thumbs on your tailbone. Chin to chest as you release your buttocks. Opening through your chest, maybe you look skyward and off you go. So maybe the first couple a little slower. Let you feel into it. And again, when you've completed, settle into Vajrasana, or maybe go straight over into Dandasana and take a full breath round. Maybe another, just let your breath settle. And then place your hands to either side of your pelvis. Remember, this is where you could use your 2 blocks if you need it. Chin to chest. And then off you go, reverse table. And you might look between your knees. Or if your chest open, you look skyward. Keep going. And when you've completed, pause, circling the wrists, let your breath settle. Then you'll take your knees to one side, come over onto your hands and knees. Up dog, down dog. So remember, you have lots of choices here. It could be cat cow, or you could come through into an up dog and release your knees, still really active through your glutes, and glide back, like so. Or lifting the knees and rolling over your feet. And when you've completed, you release your knees, sink into child. Take several breath rounds here once you've made it to 21. Feeling the effects of flowing with the Tibetans and coming into stillness. Flowing with what's going on the mat or off the mat. And then finding our place where we can ground and integrate that. And then slowly begin to make your way up into standing. Take your time. You might repeat how we came up to standing by lifting your heels first, maybe 3 or 4 times. And sinking your heels down, release your belly onto your thighs, release your head. And then go down to come up and slowly roll up. Roll your shoulders at the top. And then step 1 foot forward towards the front of your mat. Glad wrapping that glute. Lift your other leg high. And I'll go side on this morning because you're going to then see, could you straighten this leg without your hands, just holding. Then step that foot forward. Come onto the toe of the back foot and lunge on down. And you might even need to be in a longer stance. Pelvis tucked, back knee releasing towards the floor. Just check that your front knee is stacked over your ankle. If not, you need to caterpillar that front foot forward. Squeezing the back glute to lift you up, sinking down. Make sure your pelvis stays level. A couple more times. Just really waking up through your legs. So it's like your back knee goes down, the front knee doesn't go forward at all. Good. And then we'll stand on this front leg. So then I'll go side on. And bring the back leg forward, lift it high, holding it as high as you can, really active through quads. Then step it forward to the front of your mat. Just check that you've bent your knee and it's stacked over your ankle. You might need to step the back foot back a little, tuck the pelvis, and you're lowering the back knee straight down to the floor. So hips stay level. Watch your back hip doesn't drop. If that back hip is dropping, you need to activate both glutes a little more. Looks good from what I can see. Three more on this side. And then bring your weight to your front leg and stand. You should be at the top of your mat. Hands come to your heart space. Surya Namaskar. Salute to the rising of the sun, which by the look of you guys who are outside is happening. As you breathe in, take your arms wide. Then your palms touch above your head and then roll down through your center. Release into your forward bend. Then find your flat back. Step that right foot back. Back knee is bent. Tuck the pelvis under and you come on up. We're going to flow, but enjoy the space. Wait until you need to breathe out. Releasing your hands, framing your front foot. Step back to plank. Wait until you need to breathe out and release to the floor. Coming up into a cobra or a sphinx, your choice. Squeeze your glutes, either option. Maybe you look ahead, maybe you look up. Releasing to the floor, to your hands and knees or plank. Releasing into down dog. Stay here for another breath round, maybe pressing out through your heels. Then walk your feet together, right leg up and long. Curl into a tight ball, stepping it lightly between the hands. Bend that back knee so you can come on up. Looking up or looking ahead. Release. Retract, come forward. Find your flat back. So knees generously bent, belly, ribs drawn up, flat back. Then release into your forward bend. Let your head go. And then go down to come up. Draw your arms around you. And bring your hands to your heart space. Then breathing in, draw your arms around, go wide, open through your chest. Maybe look up. Then palms touch and roll through the center. You take your left foot back. Taking yourself up, right? And then bring your hands to your heart. Tip forward and really press out through that back leg, so back knee straight, revolving towards your right leg. Namaste. Stay here or straighten the arms and bring the fingertips to your block. That'll be your left fingertips. And revolve to your front leg, maybe taking your backhand skyward. So your left hand is on the outside of your right foot. Nice work. Then if you're using your block, bring your block forward of your foot. If you're not using your block, just have your fingertips, left fingertips forward of the block. And let's see if we can balance here this morning. So you might have your right fingertips on the floor as well. Lift that back leg, really lengthen. And then you need to roll your back hip to the floor as you turn yourself to the right. Active through both legs. Quite a challenge balance. So you might just have your hand on your pelvis or fingertips on the floor. Then release the back toes, frame your front foot. Step back to plank. Release to the floor. Let's inhale into a sphinx. Excuse me, I'm going to pop. And draw back on those elbows and lengthen. Get strong through your glutes. Release yourself down. Inhale out those hands, interlace through your tailbone and come back up into locust. Tops of the knees, tops of the feet facing the floor. And then release. Inhale to your hands and knees or plank, child or down dog. Let's come into a side bend. So for those who are in child, bring your hands to one side. If you're down dog, bend your knees a lot and take your hips and heels to one side. Come back to center and go the other way. So if you're in child, take your hands to the other way. And then we'll all meet back in center. You're going to take your left leg and take it up and long. Curl into a tight ball and step it lightly between your hands. It's a bit heavy. And then press out through your back heel. Come on up. Bend your back knee initially. So you can really tuck your pelvis under and open through the hips. Then bring your hands to your heart and press out through your back heel. So now the back knee is straight. Turning towards this front leg. Revolving warrior. Coming into namaste, lifting the back elbow, really pressing your thigh into your elbow and your elbow into your thigh. So you might stay here or you might extend the fingers to the floor by straightening the elbows. They're all just choices, remember now. And if you'd like to play with this balance, I like my fingertips just in front. So it's right fingertips in front of the left foot and start to pick up the back leg. You might just stay here with your hand on your pelvis, or you roll the back hip to the floor and begin to turn your body towards your front leg. Release the tips of the toes to the floor. Frame your front foot with your hands. Retract. Come forward. Find your flat back. Then release into your forward bend. Let your head go. And then go down to come up. Drawing your arms around you. Reaching tall. Hands to your heart. Just stand for a moment in Tadasana. Feeling the effects thus far. And we'll draw the arms around. Palms touch as you look up. Come into chair pose now. So Utkatasana. So you can have your feet hip width apart and parallel, or some people prefer to do this with their feet and knees together. You can keep your hands really high and palms together, or separate. Feel that you're drawing the front of the ribs in. It's like your sit bones are trying to reach an imaginary chair. Soften your breath. And then tip forward into your forward bend, separating your feet if they're together. So this time you'll take your right foot back, plant the back heel for a heel down sky warrior, get really active through both glutes, front knees tracking over those middle two toes, both hips face forward, drawing your hands skyward. And just notice, is there any tension in your arms and shoulders? And if there is, let it go. So in this pose, we're grounded, centered, connected to the earth, and open and vulnerable. So you might just take your arms back and hold. Or if you feel like you've collected a bit of tension this week, feel free to let it go. Maybe you look forward, or maybe you even look up. Just check that your front knee is still tracking over your middle two toes, and caterpillar that front foot forward if you need to go deeper. And then we'll bring the hands to the heart space and come forward into your flying warrior. So back, hip, knee and toes face the floor. Stay here with your hands at your heart, or take them into a T. Stay here, or even take your arms forward. you've got enough room. Stay with whatever option's right for you. And then we'll release the back toes, framing the front foot with your hands. Step back to plank. Holding your plank, either holding and staying here or maybe coming into a side plank, rolling to one side. Feet can be stacked, one foot in front. Come back to center. Go the other way. Back to center. Release to the floor. Back bend of your choice, or come into up dog from here. So firm up through your glutes. Press down through your hands, lift your pelvis. Draw back on the hands, squeeze those glutes. Maybe look up. And then drag yourself back into down dog by bringing your feet forward. Or lower and come back to child. If you want to play with side bends again, stay with any of the choices we had earlier, or maybe wild thing. So bring your feet together. Let's take the left leg up and long, and then bend the knee and open the hip. Now before you pivot on your grounded foot, you come forward towards a plank, then you pivot over. Opening up through your chest. And then press down through your hands and foot to come back to down dog. Feet together. Right leg up and long. Bend the knee. Open the hip. You could just stay here and enjoy this opening. Or you lift the heel, the grounded heel, come forward towards a plank. Pivot on that foot as you come on over, depending how much I'm limited by room, but you might take your arm out to the side. And then go down into your hand and grounded foot to come back. Settle into down dog, or lower your knees and settle into child. Movement to stillness, flow, and then pause. Full breath round, ground into the earth. Draw your breath from the earth. Let it fill every single cell in your body. And then as you exhale, connect deeply back into the earth. And we'll glide back into downward dog. Again, take a full breath round here, breathing in from the earth, exhaling into the earth. Walk your feet together. Right leg up and long. Curl and step that foot lightly between your hands. Plant the back heel. Heel down, sky warrior. Come on up. Both hips face forward. So remember, sometimes you need to widen your stance. And then make sure that your front knee is stacked over your ankles. So you might need to caterpillar that front foot forward. Then bring your arms skyward. You can stay with your arms wide and hold here. Feeling that groundedness. Both glutes active. If the front one's not, lift the heel and settle the heel. Open and vulnerable if you need to let stuff go. You know what they say. Let that stuff, with another word, go. And then settle. Connect into the earth. Grounded and strong. Open and vulnerable. Ready to face whatever comes your way. And bring your hands to your heart. Bring your weight onto your front foot. Flying warrior. So get really active through that back leg. Back hip, knee and toes face the floor. Arms come out into a T, or maybe you take them forward. Find that length from your crown to your heel. Roll the back hip down. Then release your fingertips and your back toes. Retract, come forward to your flat back. So lift the front ribs, back of the head lifts, generous bend in the knees. Release into your forward bend, and then maybe you start to move your knees towards straight with your belly and your thighs in contact. You can even hold on to your inner elbows. And feel free to move a little. Maybe figure eight your arms. Let your head go. And then come back to stillness. And let's hold on to the inner elbows and start to lift your inner elbows up. Find your flat back. See if you can find that straight line from your elbows to your tailbone. And then press down through your feet and come on up. Elbows above your head, opening through your shoulders and your mid back. Side bend, whichever way you want to go. Back to center. Side bend away. Back to center. Release your hands. Roll your shoulders back and interlace. Look up for a moment, so soft knees. Open pubic bone to breastbone as you look up and draw the shoulders back. And then soft knees, tip forward into a Baddha Hasta Uttanasana. So you can keep your belly on your thighs the whole time and a really generous bend in your knees. Or with your belly and your thighs, start to move your knees towards straight. Soft toes, pick up your toes and play piano with them. And then release the toes. Release your hands to your tailbone. Slide your hands down to the floor. Find your flat back. You're going to step your left foot back. And bring that left heel to the ground. So you've got a heel to instep alignment. Then windmill your arms, coming up for Virabhadrasana to Earth Warrior. So look down at your front knee. Check that your front knee is tracking over your middle toes. If it's not, that back hip needs to roll forward so it faces the diagonal edge of your mat. You look to your future. You acknowledge your past. And you stay really present here. Because we really don't know what this is going to look like. And there's no point trying to work it out. True. So stay in the center. Settle into your breath. Press your front heel down and forward. If you want to go deeper, caterpillar that front foot. Sink a little deeper. Then turn the front palm skyward. Virachandrasana. Let the backhand meet the thigh, let the thigh respond. So press the front heel down and forward to bring weight into the back foot. Honouring the crescent moon that has been the last couple of nights. Maybe you bend your elbow, even massage the base of your skull. Just watch that your front knee hasn't rolled in. So remember to let that back hip come forward if it has. Glutes switched on. Then come on over to Parsvakonasana. Forearm to thigh, or if you've got your block and you want to bring your hand to your block, that might really help if you're trying to keep your knee in line, because you can press your thigh into your arm and your arm into your thigh. Take your hand skyward or take that arm over your ear. Leading with your little finger. Let your breath flow. Maybe you look to your front foot, or maybe you look to your left. Then we'll release the top hand to the floor, pivot on that back knee, and then just heel toe this right foot out to the side a little and release your back knee to the floor. Start to walk your hands back as you draw the right hip back. So you come into a lunge flow. And some people might find that actually the block is helpful here. Then come back into your lunge with your back knee on the floor. Stay here, pick up the back foot,
That might be as far as you need to go. Or maybe you reach back with your left hand and find that back foot and draw it towards your buttocks. Release the back foot. If you need to come deeper into this hip opener, you might come down onto your block with both elbows, or maybe just the right elbow. And just make sure that your right knee is tracking over your middle two toes. So if it's not, just pivot the heel and foot out and have the foot on a bit more of a 45-degree angle. Then plant your hands on the inside of this foot. Lift the back knee. Come back into a full high lunge, framing the front foot. Step back to plank and release to the floor. Inhale, come into a cobra with your hands close. Squeeze both glutes. Pelvis stays down, but belly off the floor. Open through your upper back, maybe look forward. And then release. Inhale to your hands and knees and child, or plank and down dog, your choice. Where do you need to be? Do you need stillness? Do you need movement? Honor what you need in this moment. And then if you're in downward facing dog, feet together. Left leg up and long. Step it lightly between your hands and bring the right heel to the mat. Windmilling your arms coming up. If you're in child, maybe you can roll up into standing and then step that left foot forward. So take a moment to look down at your left knee. It needs to track over the middle two toes. And if you can caterpillar your foot forward so it stacks above the ankle. If it rolls in, remember that's about your back hip. So roll your back hip forward. Active through both legs. Press the front heel down and forward. Feel the weight come into the outer blade of that back foot. You look to your future. Acknowledge your past. Stay present. And settle into your breath. And bring your back hand to your side. Turn your front palm skyward. Virachandrasana. Honoring the crescent moon. Stay here or bend your elbow, massage the base of your skull. Make sure your front knee is still tracking over your middle two toes. Glutes active. Wake them up. And then come forward to Parsvakonasana, either elbow on your thigh. Or you might use your block. Hand on your block. Take the top hand skyward, pause here. Feel that openness from either the bottom elbow or the hand to the fingertips. And then extend the arm over the heel. So stay really active through your legs. Press your front heel down and forward. Feel the length from your back foot to your fingertips. Roll your shoulder forward slightly like you're leading with your little finger. You can look to the floor or you look under your arm. Soften your breath. And then we'll release the hands to the floor and lower the back knee. So you might like your block here. And just pivot this left foot out to the side a little. So you can come into a lunge so that your knee is tracking over your toes. And then come out of that. Keeping the big toe planted as you draw the left hip back. And then come forward into it. Just do that a couple of times until you're ready to stay still. And when you're ready to hold your lunge, you're finding your edge and you might already be there. And then you're going to pick up the back foot. And you have the option to bring the right hand behind as you draw the foot towards your buttock, opening through your quad. Now, if you come up a little higher and tuck your pelvis, you'll actually feel this stronger through your hip flexor. So come up upright a little more. Then release the back toes, come back down into the lunge and find your edge here. It might be hands on the floor, maybe come down onto the right elbow or both elbows. Check that your knee is tracking over the toes. If not, turn the toes out. Breathing easily as you settle into stillness. And then release both hands. Pivot that foot back in, frame the front foot, lift the back knee, retract. Come forward and find a flat back. Knees bent, front of ribs lifting, back of head lifting. Melt into your forward bend. And you choose whether you hold on to your elbows again or bring your arms behind and hold those inner elbows and then interlace your hands and take your hands over your head. Let there be no tension in your neck. Then bring your hands to your pelvis, or if you're coming up with your elbows at the front, lift them to the in line with your head again, and come on up. Opening through your shoulders, either taking your hands behind you or lifting the arms up high. And then release your hands where they are. Come and stand in Tadasana. And let's come into tree pose. So for those of you who are looking, well, a lot of you are probably looking out your windows. So I could do that. Turn yourself so you can face the trees of your property. Hi, nice. And welcome the morning. And ground into your feet. And shift your weight to one leg. Lift that other leg high. Roll the hip open. And bring the heel into position. So remember, it can be just above the ankle, below the knee, above the knee, or all the way into your groin. And once you find that place, settle into it. And be like a tree in the wind. You don't need to be completely still as you bring your hands to your heart. Send your breath deeper and deeper into the earth. Stay here, or take your branches high and open your branches wide. And then come out of it as gracefully as you went into it. Standing for a moment. Feeling that connectedness between you and the earth. You and the trees. Whenever we find that we're getting too stuck in our heads, in the current climate, ground into the earth. Breathe with the trees. Remember who you are. And then shift your weight to your other foot. I'm going to draw that heel either all the way, bring your leg all the way up, roll your hip open. You can either bring the heel just above the ankle, below the knee, above the knee, or all the way up into your groin. Press your thigh into your foot and your foot into your thigh, just like you're pressing your hands together now. Stay here, or take your branches high. Stay here, or open your branches wide. Breathe from the earth. Soften your eyes, soften your skin. And then come out of it as gracefully as you went into it. And stand. Feeling the groundedness. Feeling connected to yourself and into the earth. And then gently start to make your way down to the floor. Come into an easy squat and pause here in your easy squat. Balancing. See if you can squeeze your heels in. And then could you lean back and release your knees to the floor from here? Just so that you can see. So leaning back and releasing one and the other. And pause for a moment with your toes tucked and notice how your feet are feeling. And then release yourself to sitting, and maybe just find your foot and massage across the base of your toes. So remember, our feet are about moving forward. And it's no wonder at the moment. It's really hard to predict what's going to happen in our lives. So I don't know about you, but have a feel of how your feet are coping with that. Or you might just be like me, doing lots of walks. So whatever it is, just give your feet a little release on both sides. And then you're going to roll yourself down into lying. So take a moment if you need to put my layers on. Roll yourself into lying. And just notice how your back feels now. And you might like your block close by. We're going to do some bridges this morning. So if you like the bridge, the block between your knees for bridge, please have it close by. And then settle with your palms out and palms facing the ceiling. Let's take a moment to give the weight into the back of the body into the floor. Have a full breath around, breathing from the earth and giving your breath back into the earth. And then take a breath in and let your back arch. And as you breathe out, let your back release. Tuck the pelvis and pick up your pelvis and peel yourself up into a bridge. If you notice straight away your knees want to go wide, feel free to have that block between them. At the top of the bridge, you can stay here. If you'd like to open through your upper back a bit more, take your arms up above your head. So you might start with them wide. The closer you bring your hands together, even stacking them, opens the shoulders a bit more. So choose where you need to be. And as you roll down, remember if there's tightness in your upper back and shoulders, you might need to snow angel your arms down as you come down. Breath in, let your back arch, let the back go, tuck the tail, lift up the pelvis. Arms can come back above your head. If you're stacking your hands, put the other one on top and then slowly roll down. See if you can tuck your tail so you can bring the base of your ribs. And maybe bring your arms down or not. Inhale, let your back arch a little, tipping your pelvis forward. Then let your back release, tuck the tail, pick up the pelvis. We're going to hold this time. Or if it's better for you to keep flowing like we have been, please honour that. And if you're holding and you'd like to open your shoulders a little more, you roll your weight to one arm and bring the shoulder underneath. And then you do the same, rock to the other side, interlace your hands behind. So make sure you press the back of the head down so you maintain the natural curve in your neck. So you don't want to soften your chin like that. Release and let the neck be free and the throat be open. And keep pressing down through your feet, engaging through your glutes. pressing the outer blade of your hands into the mat, holding for as long as is right for you. And then when you need to come out of it, you release your arms and you slowly roll down. Take that block out from under between your knees if you're using it. And bring your knees into your chest and cross one leg in front of the other and use the reverse abdominals to counter pose. And then take your hands and interlace them behind your head. Take a breath in, let your back arch. Legs might float away with that back arch. Let your back go, tuck your elbows and sit on it. And now go really slow. Like your head's a grand piano and you're lifting it to lowering it out a window. You have to slowly lengthen the front of the body. Feel like you're lifting your head off your shoulders. Let your head touch down. And then bring your arms down into a T. Keep your right leg up and just put your left foot down. So just scooch your hips over so that you're on a bit of an angle. So this right, whoops, there's my lemon honey ginger. So that this right leg will be able to slide in a moment, but keep the right leg bent and off the floor. Take a breath in and let your back arch. As you breathe out, release your back. Press down through your left heel and come up into a single leg bridge. You can straighten your leg if you like. Squeeze through both glutes. Slowly roll yourself down. Let your knee bend as you interlace your hands behind your head. Pelvis is on the floor now as you inhale and arch. Exhale, release your back. Tuck your pelvis, sit on up, and roll this leg out. So roll your thigh out. So now your elbows are pointing to the sole of your foot. A bit like your legs preparing for threading the needle. And now keep your legs still as you slowly release your upper body. Let your head touch down. Touch your foot onto the floor in this angle so it's, like it's ready for threading the needle. And if you can, slide it across the floor rather than your mat. And let everything go. And draw that leg back up. Take it up into the air again. Knee can be bent to begin with. Hands down beside you. Inhale, little arch. Let your back go. Press down through your foot and lift your hips up. Lift that foot now really actively to the ceiling. Squeeze both glutes. Check that you're pressing the whole rim of the left foot into the mat. Slowly roll down. Let the knee bend as the pelvis touches the floor. Hands interlace. Inhale, arch. Exhale, release and sit on up. This time just have your knee pointing directly into the center for now. Super slow release your upper body, like you're lifting your head off your shoulders. Take several breaths. Once your head touches down, roll your thigh in so that your right thigh is going to rest onto your left thigh and you've got the tip of your toe, big toe on the floor. And now keep your leg in this rolled in angle as you slide it away from you and completely switch off. And then bring that leg back up. Bring yourself back into your mat. And let's come back into a bridge with both feet planted. So you can have your block if you like. Breath in and arch. Breath out, let your back go. Press down through your feet and lift on up. And just see if you can feel the difference in this right hip. So for me, I can get my right hip a lot higher than my left. Press down through your hands or take your arms up above your head. You've got the room. And slowly roll yourself back down. And then we'll swap to the other side. So turning yourself around. Oh, you don't need to do that. Sorry, I'm talking to myself. Preparing for the other side. So press down through both feet. Lift up into a bridge and now pick up the left leg and reach it high. And really squeeze the right glute. Press down through your arms. Slow motion release your body back down. Let your knee bend. You do need to scooch yourself over to the other side to slide your leg. And then roll that leg out. Inhale, have a little arch. As you exhale, let your back go. And sit on up, and it's like you're bringing your elbows towards the sole of your foot. You've got your leg in that almost straight in the needle position. And then super, super slow release. Let your head touch down, let your arms come down. Then touch your foot down in this position. So it's rolled out, opening through your inner thighs. And on your floorboards or your carpet, whatever you have at home, off your mat, start to slide your leg to long. Then lift that leg back up. Have your foot off the floor to begin. Or if you feel you have to use both feet to get up into the bridge, do that. And then come on up into your bridge, reaching this leg to the ceiling. Squeezing through your right glute, really active through your left leg. Press your arms down. And then slowly roll yourself back down. Let your knee bend. Take your hands and interlace them. Inhale, arch. Exhale, let your back go. Tuck your elbows and sit on up. And then super, super slow, release the upper body. Let your elbows melt, bring your arms out. You're going to roll your leg in so that you touch your big toe down and your thighs are touching. And then slide your leg away. And bring that leg back up. One more time up into a bridge. So inhale, let your back arch a little, release the back, press down through both feet. Come on up. Opening through both hips. Feel free to take your arms up. Maybe palms are stacked, one on top of the other. And slowly roll down. Feel free to open your arms as you release your pelvis. Slide your arms down. Bring both knees into your chest. You choose. You could go knees to chest rocking or come back to where we did what we did before, which was the reverse abdominal. Then hug your knees into your chest. Take your legs wide and come into a bear cub. And gently soften your knees towards the floor. Then release the left foot down. Roll that right leg open, treading the needle. So just check before you lift this left foot off the floor that you haven't hitched one side of your pelvis up. And if you have, try and bring your pelvis level. So it's really easy to hitch up on the right side, and then you won't release through that buttock as much. And then if you need to go deeper, you lift the left foot off the floor with your pelvis level, either taking both hands and holding behind the thigh, or wrapping your right arm around the outside. If you've noticed that your head is poking up to the ceiling or your chin, as you exhale, curl yourself into a tight little ball and slowly release. And if you still notice that your head is doing that, see if you can grab a piece of clothing or a blanket and just chuck it underneath your head. So you want your chin to be able to relax. Closing your eyes, sending your breath into that resistance. If your mind wanders off, bring it back time and time again. And then let's release the foot to the floor. Let the right leg cross all the way over the left. Pick up your hips, shift them over to the right, put them back down. You can keep that left foot on the floor or lift it up. And then roll your pelvis to the left. Arms are out into a T, keeping the right shoulder blade grounded, turning and looking to the right. or to the ceiling. Cross-legged twist. Once you're there, feel free. You might feel like you're going to separate your legs more, or even straighten the top leg. Notice what's right for your back and what gives you the most relief. And then you'll gently roll back to center. Uncross your legs. Bring that left knee in towards your chest, hug it in, roll the leg out, bring the outside of the left foot to the outside of the right thigh, threading the needle. Just check that you haven't hitched up on one side of the pelvis. So if you put your hands on into that space just above your pelvis, like you're cranky with someone, and if you hitched up on one side, do that a little more and then bring your pelvis to level. Then pick up your foot. You can take your hands behind your thigh or around the outside of the thigh. Keep that left foot active. If you feel like your chin's poking up to the ceiling, on your exhale, curl into a tight ball, coming off the floor with your head and shoulders. And then slowly lengthen the front. Lay your head back down, soften your chin. Send your breath into your resistance. See if you can soften your shoulders, your jaw here. What could you let go of? Four more breaths. If your mind wanders off, bring it back. Three more breaths. If your mind wanders off, bring it back. Mentally count the breath if the mind is active. And then you release the right foot. Pick up your hips and scooch them to the left. Cross that left leg all the way over. Feel free to lift the foot off the floor, or as you are, arms in a T, rolling your pelvis to the right and turning to the left. Changing the top leg position if you wish once you get there. And then gently coming back to the center when you're ready. Notice if you would like to come into a Viparita Karani, or if you're ready for Shavasana. And if you are, take something underneath your knees as you stretch your legs long. Make sure you're warm. And take another breath from the earth, whether you've gone into an inversion or you're laying ready for Shavasana. And as you breathe in, feel like you draw your breath from the earth. And as you breathe out, send your breath back into the earth. If you're settling into Shavasana, make sure that you're warm. You cover your body with a blanket. And let's come in to Shavasana via Paramahansa Yogananda's double breath. So remember, with the double breath, it's a short and then a long inhale. And as you inhale, you feel like you're trying to collect every little bit of tension in your body. And then as you breathe out, it's a fast and then a slow exhale, so double exhale through the mouth. And you relax from your crown to your toes. So it sounds like this. Bring everything to a peak. And then exhale. Feel that release from your crown through your arms and out your fingers and all the way out through your toes. And then again, tense the body. Feel the shoulders drop away from the ears as you release all the way out through your fingers and your toes. And then start to take it through the layers of your being. So do one more through your physical body. Nearly tense your shoulders up to your ears. And feel that you're taking the double breath through the pranic body, the energetic body. One more time. Through the thought body. Through the emotional body. And one through the causal body. Feel the earth cradle you as you give the weight of the back of the body into your support, like you're lying back into the arms of a loved one. Feel the organ body get heavy. Feel the organs of the pelvis, abdomen, chest, neck and head all sink towards the back of the body. As you relax your scalp, your skull, your forehead, all around your eyes, your nose, both sides of the jaw, cheeks, lips, teeth, tongue. Feel the whole of the neck soften, the shoulders, and all the way down your arms to your wrists. Feel the palms of the hands soften into the back of the hands, and all 10 fingers relax. Feel the collarbones and the breastbones soften and broaden. The ribs, diaphragm, abdominals. Feel the lower back soften to release into the earth a little more. Both sides of the pelvis, the front of your pelvis and hips. And let that radiate down through your thighs and your knees, your shins and your calves, ankles and heels, and all 10 toes. Give your weight into the earth below you. Receive the support. Yield. and follow the natural ebb and flow of your breath. And allow the exhale to lure you deeper and deeper into that well of spaciousness at the end of every exhale. Feel the body relax a little deeper with every exhale. And then very gently start to bring your awareness back to your body, still on the floor. Feel the stillness of the physical body and the alive inner being. And begin to deepen the breath and draw it from the core of the earth. From your navel, let it spread into every single cell in your body. And then bring your breath back and send it like an anchor or a root deep into the earth.
Keep breathing in this manner as you begin to move your fingers and your toes. And then begin to move how you feel. So maybe it's knees to chest, maybe you take your arms over your head and stretch long and press out through your heels, pedal through your heels. And take your time and roll over onto one side and pause, feeling the weight of the body grounding you. And then make your way up into a seated pose. And when you come up into sitting, if you're happy in Vajrasana, come into Vajrasana with or without a prop, or sit cross-legged or high. You can sit on your couch at home. And let's bring the hands straight into the heart space with the thumbs touching the breastbone. And then soften or close the eyes. And as you breathe in, draw your breath through your physical and energetic spine from the tip of your tailbone to the crown of your head. And when you exhale, send your breath deeper and deeper into your spine. Drawing the next breath from the core of the earth through the physical and energetic spine. Feel the length in the physical spine as you breathe in. Keep that length as you send the exhale deeper and deeper inwards to your spine. Draw the next breath from the earth. And as you exhale, send it deeply into your spines and then into the earth, grounding you. For it is with great respect and infinite love that we now conclude this practice. Let's seal it with 3 Oms. Take a moment if you wish to dedicate this love, rubbing your palms together, taking a breath in as you open your hands wide. I honor that place in you where light, love, and truth dwell. For when you rest in that place in you, and I dwell in that place in me, we are one. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. Let's have a hello.